Well, looks like Yannik Sinner just got himself into one hell of a mess. The Italian star has been slapped with a 3-month suspension after testing positive for clustol in a routine doping test. His legal team, of course, rushed to claim it was all an innocent case of accidental contamination. Because, banned substances just casually sneak into your system like that. Rather than dragging things into a legal circus that could have lasted ages, Sinner chose to cut a deal with the World Anti-Doping Agency, W8A. The outcome? His punishment was conveniently reduced to just 3 months, letting him make a dramatic comeback right in time for the Rome Masters 1000. Now, here's the million-dollar question. Was this really just an unfortunate contamination mishap, or is there something fishier going on? Some folks are happy to take Sinner's word for it, while others think he's been let off the hook way too easily. But regardless of the drama, the Italian Tennis Federation has gone full ride or die for their golden boy. Federation President Angelo Baggi even announced that they're building a special VIP suite for him at the Rome Masters, supposedly to shield him from outside contamination and, let's be real, from all the haters. As expected, this has sparked a heated debate. To some, it's a noble show of support for a guy who's fallen victim to an unfortunate blunder. To others, it's nothing more than a pathetic attempt to sugarcoat a situation that casts a big, fat shadow over the integrity of the sport. While the Italian Federation is busy baby-proofing Sinner's environment, the ATP locker room has been anything but sympathetic. Players left, right, and center have come forward to blast both the Italian and the anti-doping system itself. Leading the charge, of course, is none other than the king of controversy, Nick Kyrgios. The Aussie firecracker wasted no time in dropping a sarcastic bombshell after French player Alexander Muller revealed that the ATP had hit him with a late-night drug test right after his match. Kyrgios saw the perfect opportunity to take a dig at Sinner. If they find steroids, just say it was your team's fault and that you had no clue. Works like a charm, apparently. Ouch. But Kyrgios wasn't the only one throwing shade. Novak Djokovic also weighed in on the matter, hinting that there's a sense of favoritism towards Sinner within the tennis circuit. According to the Serbian legend, plenty of players feel that the Italian was handed a slap on the wrist, and the whole situation is giving tennis a PR nightmare. I've seen the reports. The Sinner case, along with others recently, has brought a lot of unwanted attention. It's not a great look for our sport, that's for sure, Djokovic said. There's a strong sentiment among players in the locker room that this was handled unfairly. Despite all the noise, Sinner is set to return to action in May, just in time for the Rome Masters 1000 and Roland Garros. But let's be honest, he's walking straight into a media firestorm. The real test now isn't just winning matches, but proving that his success wasn't built on an illegal edge. Can he rise above the scrutiny and show the world that he's the real deal? Or will the weight of the controversy drag him down? And here's the kicker. The issue, according to many players, isn't even about Sinner personally. It's about how this entire doping fiasco was handled. Russian star Andrei Rublev didn't sugarcoat his feelings. It's not about Yannick's case in particular, it's about the system. You can't afford even the tiniest mistake, or you're out for 2 years. We've seen players banned just for missing a test, not even for testing positive. Yet somehow, Sinner's case got wrapped up nice and quick, and he gets to keep playing while it was being sorted out. Make it make sense. Australian player Alex de Minaur also threw in his 2 cents, pointing out how bizarre this case has been compared to past incidents. It's tricky to comment because, honestly, we've never seen anything like this before. Every past doping case resulted in at least a 1 or 2 year suspension. I just hope that if this ever happens to another player, they get treated the exact same way. But the biggest question still lingers. Has the anti-doping system been playing favorites? Belgian veteran David Goffin certainly thinks something smells fishy. No one on the tour understands what just happened. Makes no damn sense. W8A just closed the case. Just like that? This used to be a strict system. If you tested positive, you were out, no questions asked. But now, suddenly, there's room for negotiation? Meanwhile, tennis legend Juan Martín del Potro found the whole timing of the case suspicious as hell. The fact that he tested positive at Indian Wells but it only came to light right before the US Open? That's odd. Feels like the whole thing was kept under wraps until they had a deal in place, making sure he didn't miss the biggest tournaments. That's the real issue here. And if anyone didn't hold back, it was world-renowned coach Patrick Mouratoglou, who absolutely roasted the entire situation. In an interview with Tennis Majors, He called it a full-blown scandal and went straight for the jugular. The issue isn't whether he's guilty or not, it's how the system handled it. There's an overwhelming feeling that there are double standards at play. Muratoglu made it clear that he doesn't believe Sinner was actively doping, and that the contamination theory could very well be true. But what really grinds his gears is the shady way it was all managed. For me, he's a victim. But let's be real, it's unacceptable that his case was swept under the rug by the authorities. No one even knew he was provisionally suspended, and now they're acting like he was punished, just enough to not miss any Grand Slams. This is an absolute joke. So, there you have it, one of the most controversial doping sagas in recent tennis history. Whether Yannik Sinner is truly a victim of bad luck or just the recipient of some serious VIP treatment, one thing's for sure, the tennis world isn't buying the official story. And with tensions running high, this won't be the last we hear about it. Alright, buckle up, because this saga just keeps getting messier. It's no wonder other players are absolutely fuming over this whole situation. Patrick Moglu, never one to sugarcoat things, has made it crystal fucking clear. The credibility of tennis anti-doping system is hanging by a thread. And let's be real, Sinner's slap on the wrist treatment has been, at best, eyebrow-raising and, at worst, a total farce. With so many voices in the locker room calling bullshit, this isn't just going to blow over like yesterday's news. The real question now is, will the ATP or W8A actually grow a spine and start handling doping cases with some goddamn transparency? Or are we just going to keep watching as certain players get a golden parachute while others get kicked to the curb? Because, let's be honest, if another player gets caught in a similar mess down the line, what's the move? Do they get the same cozy deal that Sinner did? Or are we going back to the medieval-style punishments of multi-year bans? And then there's Dr. Mard, a heavy hitter in the world of anti-doping cases, who wasted no time tearing into W8's handling of the circus. Taking to X, yep, the platform formerly known as Twitter, RIP old days, he went on a full-blown rant about the sheer lack of consistency, the shady-ass decision-making, and the fact that we're all supposed to just trust the process when there's no transparency whatsoever. Some of his most brutal takes? The W8A lawyer handling this case doesn't even seem to know what the hell claw is. FYI, it's an anabolic steroid, but somehow he's certain this case has nothing to do with doping? Based on what exactly? They're straight up refusing to release the scientific findings that led to their decision. Convenient, huh? So we're just supposed to take their word for it. Sinner's test results, even at low concentrations, don't automatically rule out doping, especially when we're talking about substances that can be absorbed through topical application, like a damn cream. And don't even get me started on that hair test, because it's far from a foolproof method in a case like this. So, in a nutshell, this whole case is a giant fucking question mark. The so-called conviction against Sinner? Shaky as hell. The way W8A handled it? A masterclass in how to make people lose faith in your entire system. And with the tennis world still buzzing over the scandal, one thing is for sure, this story is far from over. Dr. Mard, the man who doesn't mince words, has made it crystal fucking clear. This case stinks worse than a gym bag left in the sun. It's not just the final verdict that's shady as hell. It's the fact that key details about the investigation have been swept under the rug like a bad Tinder date. And that, my friends, is exactly why this whole mess is triggering alarm bells across the tennis world. To prove his point, Mard threw it back to a strikingly similar case, that of Stefano Baglino, an Italian footballer who tested positive for the exact same substance, plus Stel, back in 2022. Now, here's where shit gets really interesting. Baglino's defense? Almost identical to Sinner's. His team argued that the banned substance entered his system via a cream called Traderman, allegedly applied during a massage by his physiotherapist. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Yet, despite these eerily similar circumstances, the Italian footballer was slapped with a brutal 4-year ban. 4 years of career-killing purgatory. And Sinner? A measly 3-month timeout, just long enough for him to take a short vacation before returning fresh for the Masters 1000 in Rome. Are you fucking kidding me? The discrepancy in punishment is so outrageous that it's practically begging for conspiracy theories. The inconsistency in how these cases are handled is exactly why people are losing faith in the anti-doping system. If Baglino got steamrolled for 4 years, why the hell did Sinner just get a slap on the wrist? Either someone is playing favorites, or the system is about as reliable as a cheap Wi-Fi connection during a thunderstorm. And just when you think this shitshow couldn't get any more suspicious, Let's talk about the timing of the announcement. W8A, in all its strategic brilliance, decided to drop the news of Sinner's suspension right before the Rome Masters 1000, one of the most important tournaments leading up to Roland Garros. What a fucking coincidence, right? Anyone with half a brain can see that this wasn't some random decision. The tournaments before a Grand Slam are crucial. They help players fine-tune their game, rack up ranking points, and mentally prepare for the grueling battles ahead. So what does W8A do? They hand Sinner a suspension that conveniently keeps him off the court just long enough to make it seem like he's been punished, but not so long that he actually misses any major events. Coincidence? Hell no. This was a move straight out of the How to Minimize Damage playbook. Tennis analyst Morto didn't hold back either, pointing out what so many people are thinking. W8A seemed desperate to walk a fine line between pretending to enforce anti-doping rules and making sure their golden boy didn't suffer any real consequences. It's like they tried to find the perfect balance between looking tough on paper and ensuring that Sinner didn't take too big of a hit where it actually matters. And this isn't the first time that the timing of doping sanctions has been conveniently aligned to protect certain players. Public perception is a powerful thing, and organizations like W8A know damn well that when they announce a suspension can drastically change how it's received. Delay it too much, and it looks like a cover-up. Drop it at the wrong moment, and suddenly their favorite player is missing the biggest tournaments of the year. So what do? They play the timing game to perfection, enough of a punishment to make it seem like justice was served, but not enough to actually impact the season of a top-tier player. And that, my friends, is the real scandal here. It's not just about Sinner. It's about the growing feeling that tennis anti-doping system has turned into a rigged casino where some players get dragged through the mud while others get escorted out the back door with a clean slate. When the punishment for the same drug varies from 4 years to 3 months based on who you are, you don't have a justice system. You have a fucking joke. So yeah, this case isn't just about a tennis player and some mystery cream. It's about whether the rules actually apply to everyone, or just to those who don't have the right connections. And the way this shitshow has played out? Let's just say, a lot of people aren't buying what W8A is selling.